Well. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another pre-race Chinwag, but this time we're in Miami, and physically I am in a slightly different location to normal. I know, right? Weird. Anyway, roll intro. Boom. Audio only people you won't be able to see, but we've got to start this stream. If you're watching on YouTube, rate the shirt out of 10. First and foremost, it's sunny. There's flowers on my shirt. I think it's a vibe. I'm loving it. What are we saying, people? What we rate my shirt out of 10? Come on. What do we think? All right, but be honest. Okay, if it is a 10, then give it a 10. Okay? If it's a 1, give it a 1. I know it's a 10 deep down. You know it's a 10 deep down. Thank you all for coming. Hello, Connor, Daddy Fett, Heather, Kevin, Max, Glenn, Earth Kuma, Name, Bailey. Bailey, you've given it a 2, bruv. A 2. Glenn's giving it a 4. Savage. Elite Gamer, though, gives it a 5. 8.5, sorry. Solid 8.3 from Josh. Colonel Sanders gives it a 9. Charmander gives it a hey. A hey out of 10. I'll take that, Charmander. Boom. We take those. Look, it's a good shirt, okay? It's a good shirt. It's a nice shirt. It's quite cheap as well. Top Man Special, if you want to get it yourself. Even though Top Man have gone under, but they're owned by ASOS, is it now? I can't even remember. Welcome to the stream, everyone. Thank you all for coming. We're here to talk about Miami. I'm not in Miami, unfortunately. I was last year. That was fun. Great. 8 Sleep. Thank you very much again, 8 Sleep, for sending me out to Miami last year. Check out 8 Sleep if you want a nice, cool mattress. No ad. I'm just very grateful for them to send me out last year. But I'm not there this year, and that's fine. That's fine. That's all well and good. All right. The weather's beautiful enough here in the UK, so I don't need to go to Miami to enjoy the vibes. Rip Top Man, indeed. Yeah. So, well, what do we think? Miami was. It's one of them, actually. You know what? Like, it's one of them that the first race didn't go down well in memory, but there were actually quite a lot of overtakes. It's just the TV direction didn't really cover them. So I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful that there is more to it than what we felt like we saw from last year. You know what I mean? Shirt is terrible. Looks like my grand's wallpaper. Nice. Hey, look, maybe Denry, maybe your nan's got taste. Okay, maybe your nan's got some wavy taste. Big up Denry's nan. It was a bit cringe last year. Yeah, again, the fake water. Well, there's real water this time, I believe. Oh my god, there is a massive wasp that's just flown into the room. You know what? Stay away from Minton. Oh my god, there's like a massive wasp that's just flown into the room. I'm not keen on wasps. I'm no Lando Norris. I'm not going to absolutely lose my mind, but I'm still not keen. Did you see it? Did it? I don't know if it appeared on the camera. It went right next to the camera and then down. We're going to keep composed, okay? It's okay. You just do your thing, wasp, all right, and bugger off. So Miami didn't live long in the memory from last year for sure. So I can't help but focus on this wasp. Minton, leave it alone. Minton, right? I think I might have to grab Minton because I don't want him getting stung. All right, go away. Minton, come here. Minton, come here. Well, this is nice and chaotic way to start the stream. You got some Minton content for the for you YouTubers. So there you go. You can see his ears. You know his ears go out. It's very cute. It means he's like triggered by something. He's like looking at something. So you sit here with me, Minton. Okay, you can stay away from the wasp, the evil, horrible wasp. Wasps are just bees are great. Bees are essential to humankind's continued existence on this planet. Wasps are just little dicks. They really are. But never mind. We move. Yeah, the wasp was attracted to the shirt. Jacob, that's such a good shout. I'm looking like I'm ready for pollination. You know, I'm ready to be pollinated, and the wasp wanted to do it. Are they JM? Are wasps integral to our survival? I feel like they're just little dicks, but maybe I'm wrong. Minton, eat the mic. Do you want to eat the mic, Minton? No, he does not want to eat the mic. Right, okay. Sorry, audio-only listeners. You had to deal with all... Oh, and YouTube viewers live. I only posted this stream like 10 minutes ago. The wasp is back. So there's probably a few less of you here than norm. But no worries. And I'm going live early because I wanted to go live early. So we're doing it. But anyway. Oh, Mini Duck. I'm glad you're happy to catch one of these live. Boom. Lovely jubbly. The track was in a flood last month. Yes, it was, Thork. Yes, it was. Yeah, classic Florida weather, being a bit mad. And yeah, the track was underwater this time last month, wasn't it? So I believe everything's like okay now in terms of from a track point of view. Obviously, I'm sure the broader Miami Gardens area has suffered somewhat, but 4:11 a.m. in Midwestern US. Chris, go to bed, mate. I'm not worth it. Go to bed. Right, okay. Let's actually crack on with the stream. And also, obviously... Oh, no! Oh, no. I've spoiled my predictions. Okay. We're going to go in reverse order. This time, I've leaked my predictions early doors straight away for this weekend's Miami Grand Prix. I can hear the wasp like right underneath me. Hang on, let me try and pick it up on the mic. Oh my god, it's right there. Oh my god, it was right next to my arm. Okay, that was not fun. Oh my god, this is intense. I'm sweating enough already because it's quite warm. Go! Oh my god, you little dick! Did you see it? Did you see it? Did you see it? You must have seen it. It's literally right here. Oh my god! Put a glass on it. Oh no, I don't. No, I think it's gone quiet now. Right. Anyway, my predictions for this weekend's Miami Grand Prix are as follows: Max Verstappen, I think, will win the race. I think Lando Norris will have a worldy drive. I think McLaren are onto a good thing this weekend. I think the upgrades will pay more dividends as long as he doesn't get stuck in a train again behind Ocon and Hulkenberg. Then I think he'll be fine. Oh my god, I can hear it again. Why you just leave me alone? Go away, bruv. Have you not got better things to do? Like, piss off, stupid bloody wasp. Right, Ew. Oh my god, go away, man. Leave me alone, seriously. It's just sitting right there. It's just right there. It's you can't even see me on the screen. Ah! Go away. Leave me and my dog alone. Alright, I might have to actually get this with a glass. I'm actually gonna have to get this in there. Because it's just gonna ruin I'm sure you're are you enjoying yourself, chat? Are you enjoying my my struggle? My discomfort right now, are you enjoying it? Oh my god, you're there. Okay. Right, I'm just gonna finish. I'm gonna drink the okay. I'm gonna drink the water and then I'm gonna get it. Oh, go outside, go on. It's so close. Okay, hang on. I'm really sorry, everyone. I just need it to go on a flat surface and I can get it with the glass. Oh, it's like it's on the laptop. Will you go away, man? Why are you like this? Right, just sit down. Just sit down, please. Why are you hovering all the time? Just sit. It's like I'm talking to Minton. Just sit. It's like I'm disappointed if you can't see this. Right, just can't. Please just sit down. You're ruining the stream. Right, let me just close the curtains. Okay, now it's really dark in here, but that's going to have to do. Right, let me closing the curtains, and I'll turn the lights on. It's probably still going to find a way to come in and traumatise me, but right now I need to adjust the camera. I'm sorry, everyone. Normal service will be resumed at some point. There we go. That'll do. I'm still a little bit dark. I can still hear the wasp, but it's behind the curtains now. So I feel somewhat. This is actually nicer lighting, I'd say. Okay. Max Verstappen will win. as much as Sergio's been doing a great job at street circuits, I just feel like Max is inevitable. You know, it's only a matter of time before he starts to walk away with this championship. Unfortunately, from a neutral, wanting something exciting point of view. I hope I'm wrong. I hope Checo can deliver the goods, but I think this will go to Max this weekend. Yeah, Lando, McLaren, I think they're onto a good thing again. Doesn't get stuck in a train, he'll be fine. Stinker, I've gone Gasly. Gasly's had a couple of stinking performances, hasn't he? I mean, obviously last weekend wasn't all his fault, but he did still shunt it in qualifying, which was on him. And the weekend before, obviously, he squeezed Ocon into the wall and ended both of their weekends with lots of potential points wasted. So I think that... What was that flash? That was weird. Yeah, I think Gasly. It's not looking good, Brev. Worldie team McLaren. I think Piastri will do well as well, as long as he's not ill this weekend. Again, Oscar did well last weekend and he was sick, so think what he could do. And then Haas, home team. Apparently they're giving, if Haas get into the points, they'll give away like 10,000 Chipotle or something because they're sponsored by Chipotle. I feel like even if they don't get in the points, they should really do something at least, right? Because that would be a bit harsh, especially given how many people were, struggle to just feed themselves. So I think they should do that anyway, as far as I'm concerned. But nice live stream Australia time. There you go. It's about time I catered to my Aussies. Right, they're my predictions for the race. Your predictions for this weekend's Miami Grand Prix are as follows, because I'm doing this in reverse order because I'm stupid. 42% of you have given it to Max Verstappen out of 1,610 votes, so thank you for voting. 42% have given it to Max Verstappen race win. 28% Checo. That Checo percentage is gradually growing every weekend, which is, it's good to see, but still all in all, when Max has it fully hooked up, this is the thing, right? When Max is fully hooked up and fully comfortable with his car, Checo just can't. I don't think anyone can hang with Max when he's fully comfortable. For Checo there has to be some, like last weekend, Max wasn't comfortable. He wasn't happy with the car, wasn't happy with the balance. And towards the end of the race, he did start to close that gap again a bit when he did seem to get on top of it, I guess, you know what I mean? I just think that it's a lot to ask of Checo to be able to actually to be able to actually close that gap consistently enough. But who knows? A bit of unreliability on Max's end could see it go that way. 11% Alonso, 9% Stroll. No Mercedes in the top four for race winner, or Ferrari in the top four for race winner. Both the Red Bulls, both the Aston Martins. Yeah, Perez needs a worldie to beat an off-day Max. I think that's pretty fair. Fair to say. Nothing against Checo. It's just Max is that good. Worldie drive, 21% of you have given it to Fernando Alonso. It's been the most common vote in Worldie drive because he is driving. He's driving like a madman, like a man possessed right now, in a good way. 11% Checo, 11% Stroll, 10% Norris. So there's some Norris belief from you lot as well, for sure. Tommo, can you give us a sneak peek of the Red Bull livery this weekend? We'll have a look at that. Stinker drive, 50%, Nick De Vries. Grass is green, sky is blue. Nick De Vries gets stinker prediction of the weekend. I mean, he does need to step it up, doesn't he? Seriously, because, with the calibre of junior drivers in the background at Red Bull, I worry for him. He needs to step it up. He doesn't want to be treated like a rookie, but then stop driving like one. 9% Bottas, 7% Sainz, 4% Gasly, and Sargent got 4% as well, but I only had space to put 1 acronym. Sargent's never raced competitively in America. Like I mean, I'm sure like in karts he would have done, but like in actual open wheelers, he's never raced in the States apparently. I saw a quote from him on the old Twitter earlier. So we'll see. We'll see. Evan, you've seen the weather forecast. Might not get a race. Really? Is it gonna lash it down in Miami? Is that what the weather's saying at the minute? I mean, as long as the race can go ahead, then I ain't got a problem with that. I guess the problem with maybe they're a bit concerned, and maybe I don't know if that was to do with the flooding. I do wonder what like drainage wise, because it is a car park. How can they implement adequate drainage at a facility like that? When I mean, even at like Suzuka, which is a purpose-built racetrack, the drainage was rubbish. You know what I mean? So, all hot, no rain. Well, as long as it doesn't rain, because I'm assuming there's no drainage, then we'll be fine. Helmut probably has De Vries' face on a dartboard. Well, look, maybe it will get to that point, Matt. Maybe. Apparently, it's going to rain for the first. I mean, the thing is, who knows in Miami? Because having been there and spoken to like, the weather just changes on a dime. Like, it's very difficult to predict the weather, as far as I'm aware, anyway, in that part of the States, in Florida, in Miami. So, remains to be seen. Good morning, James. Welcome. Thank you for coming. Worldy team, 32% Red Bull, 25% Aston Martin, 13% McLaren, 9% Mercedes. Again, I think McLaren are going to have a really strong weekend. This is, I think, because I was saying this, even last weekend in Baku, we never really got to see the full potential of the McLarens, because Piastri was sick. He wasn't well, so you don't know. You can't possibly know how much that's affected his performance. It's impossible to say for sure. Plus, he was stuck in that train. He was behind Albon, or ahead of Albon, I think, wasn't he? I can't remember. And then Lando thought he could have got to P4 in qualifying. Thought there was the pace there. In the sprint, put on the wrong tyre, so was nowhere. And then in the race, again, got stuck in that train behind Hülkenberg and Ocon. So once again, we've not been able to see the full potential of McLaren. Like, they've been so unlucky, I feel like. They've had so much, like, or not even just bad luck, it's just, they are the most mysterious team. Them and Alpine's performance is up and down massively, isn't it? But I think McLaren are the most kind of unknown, I guess, right now for me. But we'll see. Lando crashed like, oh yeah. I mean, that was one of the more, from the broadcast point of view anyway, the more dramatic moments last year was when, Gasly. I think that was more Gasly not paying attention, but they kind of were both a bit culpable in it. Gasly coming across Lando, and boom, big contact. But yeah, that was a shame back then. But these things happen. So right, constructor standings. Where do we sit right now? 93 points. Red Bull ahead of Aston Martin. Constructors is done, isn't it? Constructors is already done. Like that is, it just is. It just is. Aston Martin, Mercedes are taking points off of each other as well. So that's just going to help Red Bull take away at the front from a constructor's point of view. So crazy that Alpha at 8th. Yeah, I mean, it's all relied on those early Bottas points from the first race, isn't it? Alfa Romeo nowhere right now, though. I think Williams don't deserve to be 10th, I think, based off of their pace. I feel like Williams... same with AlphaTauri no way deserve to be behind Alfa Romeo. But points don't tell the full story. They never do. Thank you, Matthew. I'm glad you like the shirt. It's a bit of a Marmite, Bit of a Marmite one, this. Crazy Ferrari a 4th. I know. But that's the thing. Like, having a good qualifying car and having a good race car, two very different things, and there's no point in having one. There's no point in having the good quality car if you can't perform in the race. And Ferrari munched through their tyres. It wasn't so bad at Baku because Baku's quite easy on tyres. The fact we had the softest compound, and you still had, Ocon and Hülkenberg could have gone the entire race. Well, Ocon particularly could have gone the entire race on a set of hards and not stopped. Only because he had to stop. And then we got all the pit lane shenanigans, nonsense, all that. Red Bull reached 1,000 points by summer break. I mean, stranger things have happened. Sorry, I'm a bit dark. There we go. Not much to say on that. And driver standings wise, look, again, if Max and Checo can keep trading P1s and 2s, then, and if Alonso and maybe Hamilton can keep consistently being the next best, then at least it stops that gap opening up ridiculously, and then maybe there's an upgrade. Because that's the thing, Red Bull's not going to get any slower. It's not going to get any slower. We're reliant, from a championship battle point of view, we're reliant on Aston Martin and Mercedes and Ferrari and all these other teams to engineer themselves closer to Red Bull. And they feel like a way off. It's like 0.5%, isn't it? I think it's about 0.5%. It's averaged over the course of the race pace, which doesn't sound like a lot, but obviously you multiply 0.5% difference over a 60, 70 lap race, and that opens up to many, many seconds. So, am I speaking quietly? Is my audio a little bit quiet, or is it all right? Or is it just by? No, I think it's okay. It's as good as it's gonna get. I'll always good audio, good, lovely. In my nice look, the vibes, the flowery shirt, the like terracotta background, the pink microphone. You don't come on. There's levels to this game, people. Any other stories to look at, really? Yeah, it's pretty mad that Leclerc's still behind science, isn't it? That's pretty crazy. And that Russell is 20 points off of Lewis, because he hasn't been that far off of Lewis, has he? 0.4% pace difference equals a whole pit stop over a full race distance. Exactly, David. Exactly. And that's the thing. It is these fine... Ultimately, it is such fine margins in F1. And I do think as well, the standard of drivers these days is so high that I think more than ever, it's about the car. I think more than ever, the car is so important. Verstappen, Leclerc, Russell, Hamilton, Norris, like so many of these drivers are so close. Checo as well. Like you take the top. I reckon, right? If you took the top 10 drivers, let's say top 10. If you took the top, say everyone arbitrarily ranked your top 5 drivers, right, in F1 based on performance, based on ability. I think if you put them in the current, if you tried every permutation of 2 of them in a Red Bull, 2 of them in Aston Martin, whatever, right? Every permutation. I think in every permutation, we've got the same constructors order. The Red Bull is still, even if the Red Bull had Lewis and George in it, it would still be clear of everyone else with them 2 driving. If you put Leclerc and Norris in the Red Bull, they would be clear of everyone else. Like, I don't think the gaps, as much as I think Max is the best driver in F1 right now, I don't think the gaps are big enough to compensate for the difference in car performance. That's what I'm trying to say, I suppose. Alonso in there as well, of course. Cheers, Matthew, for the 2. Will Ricciardo replace De Vries mid-season? Yeah, that's an interesting one. I hadn't actually even considered that until someone mentioned it. I think when we did the Last Lap podcast, someone mentioned... No, it wasn't. I was on Engine Braking with Dan and Blake. Engine Braking podcast, check it out. Great pod. Was really fun. Almost went 2 hours with those boys. It was good fun. Yeah, and Blake mentioned, Ricciardo to replace De Vries, which would actually be... It would make a lot of sense, wouldn't it? Because I think that, Daniel said it himself. He's needed this time off, and good for him. Fair play. Like, he's felt like he's needed this time off. And by mid-season, I think he would be ready to... I think he would be ready to come back. I don't know. I don't know him. I don't know. I can't speak for his, his wants and needs, right? But I would be surprised if by mid-season he won't have had enough time off to rediscover that hunger to get back in an F1 car. So yeah, if Nick's performances continue to flop, then I guess it's a balance up, isn't it? It's, putting Ricciardo in an AlphaTauri from an eyeballs on AlphaTauri point of view would be an unreal coup, I guess, for for Red Bull because I think you think eyeballs on AlphaTauri at the moment pretty minimal. Tsunoda's doing all right, but he's not really getting in the points. He's just outside. De Vries is just shunting. If they put Ricciardo in AlphaTauri, there's going to be so many more eyeballs looking at that AlphaTauri, which from a branding point of view is going to help somewhat, and it means that Daniel can hopefully use that second half of the season to actually be like, okay, no, I'm not the McLaren Ricciardo. I am still the Red Bull Renault Ricciardo. I'm still capable of that, But then if they put Daniel in, they're not putting someone like Liam Lawson in, who I think is the most deserving of their young driver crop, is the most deserving of an opportunity, given his performances in not just F2, but in DTM, in Super Formula at the moment as well, which is Super Formula is closer to F1 than F2 is in terms of the performance of these cars. So, yeah, it would definitely be a way up between Lawson and Ricciardo, wouldn't it? But Ricciardo would actually, yeah. I think Lawson's time will come because maybe it's like Daniel wouldn't want to do like long term at AlphaTauri, would he? He just wouldn't. But if they gave him the second half of the season, if De Vries continues to stink, which unfortunately he is, then that could be a really good opportunity for Ricciardo to put himself back in the shop window. He would need that stint to go well, but again, like if he's going to put himself back in the shop window, then yeah, that would be an opportunity for him to be like, I'm still here. I'm still a potential, driver who's won 8 races in Formula One. Right, I haven't lost that talent overnight. It's just been in the right environment to extract that ability, But we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, Lawson's got time, so we'll see. We'll see. I find it very surprising Ricciardo went from Red Bull to Renault. I find it surprising that he went from Renault to McLaren. I don't know. He must have just not believed in that vision at Renault, and unfortunately, you could say it's somewhat vindicated by, Alpine's midness currently, maybe. But I think with Renault, like if he'd stayed at Renault, which become Alpine, then they could have really built that team around him, and would be in a better place than they are now, I think. But I still believe. Actually, let me do a quick. It's not the easiest to do polls right now. Actually, yeah, I'll do 2 polls. Right. So poll number 1 is if for God's sake, if Alpha Tauri swap out De Vries, who should replace him? So should it be Lawson mid-season? I'm going to put mid-season as well. So this is like after, let's just say 11 races, Who should replace him? Lawson, Ricciardo, or other? I want to know what you think. In a poll, let me know. So if you were in charge, if it was up to you to make the decision, you're Franz Tost is leaving obviously, but you're senior Red Bull. You're making the you're making the call, because I think that there's a good argument. There's a good argument either way, because also then it is potentially missing out on an opportunity to get Lawson in top tier machinery. To see actually whether he can hang in F1. Is it worth sacrificing that opportunity to give Ricciardo a chance when, yes, Ricciardo might be good for the short-term marketing brand AlphaTauri, bringing eyeballs to that, but long-term he's not going to want to stay there. He wants to go to a different team. So is it worth it from Red Bull's point of view to essentially like help Ricciardo, showcase himself to the world, but then just to, bugger off at the end of the year? Yeah, it's one of 2 ways. Lawson, 54% of the votes gone to Lawson so far, 39% Ricciardo. So you're fairly split. 7% other. So it is mainly around them two. I still maintain. I still think that Alpine should have gone for Ricciardo over Gasly, in my opinion. I think that it's interesting. I really don't know where I sit with Gasly now, because in that AlphaTauri. Oh, sorry, I was confused by David's message there. In that AlphaTauri, he did really well. Like in that first year of him and Tsunoda, and Gasly was picking up loads of quality results for sure, right? Did great job. But Gasly's never had, like, Ocon is Gasly's highest caliber teammate to date, right? Because he's had what? Gasly's had Hartley, Tsunoda, Kvyat. And I would say Ocon's prime Kvyat is probably about where Ocon is, I would say. Well, yeah, obviously Max dicked him, right? What? Okay. The point I'm making is that Gasly has beaten most of his teammates, but when he went against Max, he got destroyed. Which, I mean, that happened to Alex. That happened to Checo, less so now, but that did in the past when they first started racing together. Every other teammate that he's not at the highest caliber teammate. Not like Ocon. Yeah, Ocon's had insane teammates. He's had Alonso, he's had Ricciardo, and like really good Renault Ricciardo. He's had Checo, and yes, Ocon's not beaten them, but he's not outperformed them. But fair enough. Gasly hasn't had that high caliber teammate, and so I've just got a bit of a reservation around Gasly, basically. I've just got a bit of a reservation because it's just like right now he's not looking a mile off Ocon, but he's had a lot of bad luck, but he has also made mistakes, and it's just like I think I do rate Ocon above Gasly, but I don't think there's much in it. But I still think Ricciardo would have been the better punt for Alpine personally, because they know how they knew how to set up a car to get the best out of Daniel Ricciardo at Renault / Alpine. They clearly didn't at McLaren. So Jonas, Merck replacing Hamilton with Vesti incoming. Well, Vesti's doing all right in F2, isn't he? Is he doing that all right to jump into Lewis's seat when he eventually retires? Maybe not. Maybe not. Ocon deserves more love. He deserves more respect, does SD. SD bestie. Right, what other graphics we got to look at? Right, last time out, look at that picture of Carlos Sainz. Look at how uncomfortable he looks. It was so awkward. It was so awkward. But then bloody American football helmets, man. Like, come on, Miami. Like, what is this? Yeah, I just found this on my the site I use for all my images. I saw this and I was like, I have to put this in, even though he didn't win. It was just crazy. I don't know. I guess yeah. I don't mind some of it. I think like again, I went to Miami last year and it did feel like very designed for the big money corpse, it didn't feel like but then, Miami's not gonna. I don't think Miami is ever gonna feel like it's, a proper fans track. And maybe that's okay. In the same way that Monaco is not designed for the everyday fan. It's designed for the super rich, mega wealthy with their big yachts, right? And maybe that's just because, we've got Austin that's way more accessible. Feels like a proper circuit, has that proper that vibe around it is much more kind of fan-led. We're not going to get that in Miami. And maybe that's just okay. Maybe we just have to kind of accept that. It kind of makes Miami what it is, I guess, in part. I mean, it's going to be the same with Vegas to an extent, I imagine, right? And then maybe that's just, there's certain tracks that have that real community feel, that culture, that F1 culture feel to it, and Miami's definitely not one of them. But yeah, maybe it's too over the top, but I think it will find its way over time because it's not going anywhere. Miami is it? It's going to stay on the calendar for the foreseeable. Although I do wonder. Yeah, I've heard that apparently they are struggling to shift tickets for Miami. So I guess now that Vegas has opened up, that's arguably the more, especially for its first year, everyone wants a ticket to Vegas if you've got money. Miami, we had that last year. This is just the second season of Miami, so there's less of that. Yeah, I know. If you've got big money to go to an event, you're going to go to Vegas over Miami if you can, aren't you? So we'll see. Show us the picture last year with Lando and Daniel wearing the shirts that are too small for them. Absolutely not, Liam. Because then that means I have to show James Corden on stream. Thank you, Matt. I'm glad you like the shirt. It's a lovely shirt, isn't it? It's a nice little number. Yeah, so that's what happened last time out in Miami. Oh, hang on. I clicked the wrong thing. Boom. There we go. Actually, this is that little grandstand on the right. That's where I was. That's the grandstand I was in for qualifying. So it was really nice because this is the kind of S's section, like turn 3, 4, 5. I can't remember. But it was really cool seeing the cars go through here. Proper quick section of the track, kind of Austin-esque with the S's, I guess. That was a really cool place to sit for qualifying, actually. Really good. Maybe Conor Moore will be there again. Yeah, maybe. There's going to be a lot of rich and famous people there. Apparently, oh no, she's not going to be there, is she? Apparently Taylor Swift is dating that Matt Healy geezer. I don't know. So Fernando missed his. He shot his shot, but he missed out, didn't he? Never mind. People were spinning there. Yeah, it was tricky through that section, but it was a good place to sit. You really saw the F1 cars going full tilt, through a corner like that, through a section of corners like that. Super impressive. That's what you want to see. If you go to a Grand Prix on a Saturday, you want to try and sit at a corner where you're seeing the cars really impress you. And by that I mean like you're seeing the cars, it's like if you go to Mugello, there's lots of places where you see the cars look really impressive. But if you go through that super high speed, like downhill, right, left, if you sit around there, you're going to see these cars just defy the laws of physics because qualifying is the quickest that the cars go all weekend. So that's what I'd always recommend to anyone who actually wants to go to an F1 race, But do I think the bottom teams will perform at this track? I mean, look, it's a street circuit. At the end of the day, the walls are there. There's a degree of, if you mess up, you're gone. So, no, I'm all in all, I'm cautiously optimistic, cautiously positive about this weekend. I know the season's not been a worldie, right? Baku was a particular stinker. The rest of the first kind of 3 races were okay. They were all right. I mean, Australia was a bit mad. The first 2 were decent. They were all right. I know that Red Bull, yeah, they are ahead, and that's not abnormal. Most seasons we have a team that, look far and away at the front. If you look through the whole history of the sport, and it's like, I think we just need to give time for these regulations to help the field, assist the field. But ultimately, the FIA are not mandating that a car catches up to Red Bull. It's on the teams now to develop and to catch up to the RB19, Shirt's growing on you, Glenn. Oh, we're up to a 7.5 out of 10. Nice. Okay, interesting. There we go, see? It's a slow burner sometimes, You take those. Can't be worse than Baku. No, exactly, I agree. And, yeah, hopefully it's a good race. Hopefully you will enjoy it. It'll be, in the evening UK time anyway. I'm in the hotel room running from the law. How did you know, Chris? How did you know? Right, a few more questions. Anyone in chat got any questions? And we'll wrap this up. Audio-only listeners as well. If you just want to listen to these in your ears and not look at my shirt, then you're welcome to on Spotify, Apple Podcasts and all that, right? Miami track is Sochi, but in Florida. I wouldn't go that far. I do think, obviously, there is that tricky little section where the cars are going super slow, but that is to stop anyone having like an airplane crash and hitting the overpass going above. So that kind of has to be there. But also, I don't hate that part because I think there are good overtaking opportunities. There's at least 2 quite clear overtaking opportunities on that track. You've got the end of the long straight, and then you've got the end of the start-finish straight. I think there's two clear opportunities there. So having that tricky section in qualifying, that's a bit of a challenge for the drivers. Like, I don't know. I don't hate that being there. As long as there are, I don't hate corners like that existing, as long as there are good overtaking opportunities elsewhere. Not every corner has to be a great overtaking opportunity, I guess that's what I'm saying. Am I going to Silverstone? Have I been invited to any race? I've got no plans currently to go to any races this year, which is, if I don't go to any, I'm cool with that, you know. Do you think Perez has an actual shot at World Drivers' Championship? I'd love to say yes, but I realistically, if I had to put money on it, I would say no. Do I think Ferrari should swap Sainz for Lando? Look, I think Sainz is not performing at the levels that I think he knows he can. He has it in him. He's struggling at the moment. The thing is, if Ferrari were a championship fighting car right now, championship fighting team right now, if Ferrari were as good as Red Bull right now, Charles Leclerc would be leading the championship. Probably. Because Perez and Verstappen have been fairly close, so they're kind of taking points off of each other. Leclerc is consistently outperforming Sainz. So if you're fighting for a world championship, you want that 1-2 dynamic. And right now, Ferrari have that clear 1-2 dynamic. It's just that almost like, it's almost like Red Bull, from a team point of view, from a maximising points point of view, I'm sure Red Bull wished they had. If Red Bull had that clear 1-2 dynamic that Ferrari have right now, they would still be leading the constructors by loads, but they would also be leading the drivers' championship to their next to Alonso by more than they are now. That's what I'm saying. So it's not necessarily a terrible thing for Ferrari that Sainz isn't performing. As long as he's doing good enough, I think, you know, Leclerc's a better driver than Sainz. I've got no doubt in my mind about that. Sainz can get close on his day, but I think that dynamic, I don't think that needs to change. I think bringing Lando in, all that does is potentially give you two number ones, and then that's a whole problem, you know. So I don't think that'd be a thing. What's your perfect non-racing Sunday like? What do you mean, Matt? Like, what, when there's not a race on at all? Just a nice beer garden with a cider and watching other motorsport, like IndyCar. When we had that 3-week break, I had a great time watching other motorsport. It was great. It was fun. Am I in Miami? No, I'm not in Miami. As much as the shirt might suggest I am not in Miami. Besides the free Sergeant Piastri, who do you think is the weakest, worst driver? Well, I don't think Piastri deserves to be in that. I think Gasly's been a bit disappointing. I think Sainz has been a bit disappointing. I think he had a really good first race, but I think Bottas has been disappointing considering the standards he's set, the expectation of a driver who out-qualified Lewis 30% of the time. I think Valtteri's been a bit disappointing. Russell's been good. Magnussen's been a bit disappointing as well. Definitely. Yeah, there's a few. I don't think anyone's had a real stinker outside of De Vries, but I just think there's been a few just But that's the thing as well with F1. If you've got that mid to low field car, you could have a fantastic weekend and get P12. You know what I mean? You could have a worldy weekend, have done nothing better and get a P12. So, Albon crashing. Yeah, no, that was an L from Alex. And to be fair, actually, it was a bit of an L from Alex, losing his front wing end plate by sticking his nose in at Baku as well. But I think overall the quality of his drives has been pretty good. He has had a mistake in him, definitely, Alex. He's made 2 blunders this year. But all in all, I think he's done pretty good. Right, okay, I'm going to wrap it there. 45 minutes. I'm not going to go on any longer. Keep this one nice and concise. So thank you to all you lovely people, Minnie Duck, Glenn, Liam, Anish, Thomas, David, Terrapog, Anwin, Jimbo, Nathan. I did not watch West Ham versus City. I knew we were going to lose that, obviously. Even though we've got a good record against City. If we were at home, I reckon we might have had a chance, maybe. Charmander, Daddy, Jake, Luca, Kleiner, Abhinav, Yard Animal, great name. Thank you all for coming. Thank you all for watching on YouTube. Like, subscribe if you want. It doesn't really matter. Subscriptions don't really matter on YouTube anymore, because no one watches from their subscription page. So, like the video though, and maybe comment on the on this live stream if you fancy. And listen, audio only, as you can see on screen right now. Boom. Thank you all for coming. Stay safe, be well, be happy. I'm glad I survived the wasp. I'm sorry for all that faff at the start, but it happens, you know. Right, cheers everyone. Be good. Hopefully Miami's a banger. We'll see. Thanks again. Have a good one. Ta-ra. Toodle pip. Adios. I'm done.